So there are a lot of things that we can do every single year, every single day to make us better investors. Some of these lessons come from the investing greats, of course, like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. But for me personally, many of the things that I'm going to try to do this year come from areas that don't necessarily have to do with investing. In this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 things that I'll try to do consistently this year to become a better investor. Let me know in the comments what you're going to be doing this year to become a better investor, or any of the goals that you have for this year. I'm always interested to hear how everybody wants to improve themselves in the coming year. First up is one of the things that I've probably struggled most with throughout my entire adult life, probably even going back into my teenage years, and that's simply getting the right amount of sleep, getting enough sleep. So I would say that sleep is the bedrock foundation of a wonderful life. So if you are not getting enough sleep, your bedrock is disintegrating. Like I said earlier, this is something that I've struggled with probably my whole adult life. I like to try to push the limits. I want to get that extra hour before bed to, either read or relax or, play an extra game of Halo. And on the flip side, I want to wake up early. I want to get the day started early. But when I burn the candle at both ends, first of all, I become an irritable person, probably not a very good friend or, person to be around. And secondly, I am not absorbing the information that I want to. Say I spend an extra hour reading, chances are I'm probably not going to remember anything that I read. And as nights go on, you lose hours of sleep, and I walk around in a fog, and it's just not fun. There are a ton of negative consequences, both physically and psychologically, of not getting enough sleep. And on the flip side, there are tons of benefits for actually getting the proper amount of sleep that you need each night. Some of the practical things that I'm doing to hold me accountable, to help me get to sleep faster, sleep better, is I track my sleep. For instance, I use an Apple Watch to track my sleep. Now, it may not be the most accurate thing, but it at least gives me a picture of how long I've been in bed. Another thing I'm doing is trying to really cut out screens 2 hours before bed and at least 2 hours when I wake up. It's inevitable that I'm going to be using screens. I mean, I have to right now. I'm recording a YouTube video. I'm a programmer, so I spend all day staring at screens. But when I can give my body the time to wind down at night without any screen interruption, I feel so much more relaxed at night. And then the following morning as well, I feel more rested. It's amazing. Another thing I'm doing for sleep is making sure that as soon as I wake up, I try to get outside as quickly as possible and go for a walk. Now, it's been pretty difficult here in Chicago. It's been hovering around, 5 degrees Fahrenheit, ranging from 5 degrees to 10 degrees. So it's been miserable to go outside, but actually the cold helps you wake up, like icy daggers stabbing me in the face, which, sounds a little bit bad, but it really helps you wake up. And then the sunlight is more important. So we are supposed to set our circadian rhythms up for success, basically, at the beginning of the day by taking in sunlight. If you're interested in learning more about sleep, I'd recommend reading Why We Sleep, which is a great book by Dr. Matthew Walker. So this next one does come from the investing masters, Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. This is something I've been slacking on the past year or so. Not very happy with my progress last year, but reading widely is something that I valued pretty much number one spot throughout my entire adult life. It's the number one component that I think goes into a healthy investing practice. You might be able to see this stack of books right here. Right, so reading widely. My family knows me well. This is a stack of gifts that I got. Well, almost all of them are gifts. Here's a book about Warren Buffett, Inside the Money Mind. I'm reading this right now. Outstanding. Leadership in Turbulent Times. This is a book about leadership lessons from Lincoln, Roosevelt, both Roosevelts, and Lyndon B. Johnson. Lives of the Stoics, Ryan Holiday. If you are new to philosophy or Stoicism in general, Ryan Holiday is the modern man to go to, but of course, you have the classics that you'll learn about from him, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, and then another one, The Daily Stoic. This is something that I read every day with my fiance. It's 366 short passages, lessons about Stoicism. So this is a wonderful book, keeps you in the right mindset. This is The Sovereign Individual. This is a book that I actually picked up based on Naval Ravikant's recommendation. And one more, something from Ian Cassell, who is a microcap investor, called Free Capital. This describes the lives of 12 private investors. That's a goal of mine, to eventually just be able to manage my own money. So that should set me up for a few good months of reading. So as you can see, there are philosophy books in there. There are investing books. And of course, those are probably not the only books that I'll try to read. But in the Money Mind book, which is Robert Hagstrom's book, the beginning of the book, he's discussing about all the lessons that Warren Buffett has learned from the big influences in his life, such as his father, Benjamin Graham, and Charlie Munger. And of course, no discussion of Charlie Munger in any book is going to be complete without a discussion of multidisciplinary approach to investing and life. So Charlie, of course, is a polymath. He's proficient in numerous fields, and basically he wants to incorporate all these fundamentals from disparate fields such as physics, biology, economics, psychology, any field that you can think of, and apply that in a practical approach to investing. This idea, this continuous learning, is the most attractive piece of being an investor to me. Yeah, returns are great, and I'm going to strive for returns, but as long as I can get appropriate returns for me, then the main point is to continue to become more rational through weaving these different disciplines together. Charlie Munger even calls it a moral imperative to be more rational. And, I'm not going to ignore Charlie on that front. And to go back to the sleep portion of this video, where I said I was going to cut out any screen time 2 hours before and after bed, this is where that reading is going to get done. I'm going to wake up early in the morning, read. Before bed, I'm going to cool down with some Marcus Aurelius or some Charlie Munger. And to me, spending time sometimes with the eminent dead, for instance, is the best use of my time. And of course, that's going to be interleaved with reading, about investments in general, and trying to apply these new multidisciplinary ideas that I get, if there are any new ones, to any investments that I'm investigating. This next idea actually goes hand in hand with sleeping well. Sitting on top of that solid foundation of sleep. So once I've got that bedrock set, I have this exercise component, which actually feeds into the quality sleep component. I've been lifting weights for probably half of my life at this point. We do what we can. I bought some kettlebells for the house that I've been using to exercise. But man, I just really miss lifting heavy weights. So that's what I'm going to prioritize this year. To me, there's nothing like the feeling after walking out of the gym, after you've just put up some big hugs of metal, and I just feel on top of the world, So that's what I'm going to prioritize. And then if I'm lifting heavy, then that means I'm going to be eating right, because I need to eat right to refuel my body. And all of that feeds into me being tired at the end of the day. So I'll be ready to go to sleep, restore myself, and then I can wake up and again tackle the day for research, investing, working, being a good member of my family, all those things. So it's all this virtuous cycle that keeps feeding on each other. I just think that I and most humans in general are vastly underweighting the importance and prevalence of exercise in our lives. So that's something I'm personally working on. Very excited for this year in that regard. All right, here's a bonus one. This has everything to do with investing, but again, this idea should be applied to the rest of my life. It's not just an investing concept. But what I'm really trying to do is wait for the fat pitch. Just wait for that obvious no-brainer to smack me in the face with a 2x4. And once I see an opportunity like that, then go for it. This year, I'm going to try really hard to be completely rationally unreasonable about the companies that enter my portfolio. I got into a pretty bad habit last year of adding tiny little tracker positions into my portfolio for companies that I was interested in investing in. But right there, it should have tipped me off that if I'm only willing to put, maybe 0.5% or 1% of my portfolio into this company, I'm not ready to make this investment. I don't deem it with a high enough margin of safety or a high enough quality business to actually take a full position, then it shouldn't get through the filter. It shouldn't enter the portfolio, because I want a concentrated book. 5 positions, I'm happy. Right now I'm at 10, and 10 is too many. And a lot of those positions are small, and some of those businesses should not be in the portfolio. So I am going to work really hard to cut that habit, prevent those companies from staying in the portfolio and from entering in the first place. There are so many opportunities out there. You could completely construct your portfolio based off of what the super investors have. You could completely construct it just based off of what Monish Pabrai has in his portfolio. And our time is precious. I want 16 high quality hours in the day, and I'm not going to be able to look at every single opportunity out there. I want to focus on the ones that I can understand, and remember that. Be unreasonable. So that's a lesson that I've learned from Monish Pabrai. You can have your cake and eat it too. And, Pabrai goes on and on at length with that concept when he talks about his investment in Turkey, which is Resos. So that's something that I'm going to continue to have at the forefront of my mind as far as investing is concerned going forward. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, you may want to check out my latest video over here. Happy New Year to you all, and I hope you can achieve all of the goals that you set for yourself for the upcoming year. Please let me know how that's going in the comments below, what you're working on this year. I'd love to hear from you. I really appreciate your time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video.